Was it wrong to have an affair after stating you want a divorce? I've been married to my wife for over 22 years. We have 3 children. We have had difficulties in the realm of intimacy and connection throughout the marriage. My wife has always blamed me. When I tried to connect, she would sometimes accept, but mostly push me away. She has never taken any blame for the breakdown of our marriage and looked to me to fix it. Well, my wife asked for an emotional break from us in mid-November, whatever that meant. And on December 1st, said we were done. I kept blaming myself for the reason because that was what I've always been told to me from her. On January 31st, I finally realized she was not willing to reconcile the marriage and accepted it after months of crying, praying, and working hard on it. Well, that day, I discovered a banking transaction for lingerie on her bank statement that was dated in December and started investigating deeper. I started thinking back to November through now, and all the time, she was out late. All the new clothes and makeup. I confronted her, and she admitted to an affair, but she claimed it was a one-time thing, and it really wasn't all I think it was. Keep in mind, my wife has been sleeping in the same bed with me every night. It gets worse. In the course of investigating, everything comes to light when I read her message or text. She had been in an ongoing affair that started months ago and is still in it. The text detailed their sexual encounters in such graphic ways I couldn't believe it. They were planning a new life together. So, of course, I kicked her out, and she agreed to leave. The question I'm confused about is this. She told me she wanted a break in November and asked for a divorce in December 1st. This affair was going on somewhere in this time period, but if she started the sexual encounters after she said she wanted a divorce, then was it wrong? We were still legally married. Our first response comes from Malcolm Crowe. 06. It sounds to me like the beginning of the affair predated the "I want a divorce." So, yes, I think it's wrong. Frankly, I think the affair is the reason she wants the divorce. Sounds like monkey branching to me. Our next response from Thrilla to Gorilla. Well, her affair had a lot to do with her wanting a divorce as it preceded her asking for the divorce. So, yeah, she's a cheater who had a exit affair. D-rated Avenger chimes in. Honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. Better to find someone who cares about you and puts her energy into that. You will probably never know about your wife, but her moving forward so quickly probably points to her being the problem to begin with. What this should have clarified for you is that she is no longer a good choice. Next comment from my side. O Street. Saying you want a divorce is not a free pass to have an affair. My guess is she said the words only to ease her own conscience because she was already planning cheat or already had. She may actually want a divorce, but saying it and doing something about it are two different things. She was still living in your house and sleeping in your bed, not at all okay from my perspective. Edit to add. It doesn't matter whether the physical cheating started before or after she mentioned divorce because it's fairly obvious that the emotional cheating was going on before that. She was already mentally gone long before she said anything. It sucks. Dude, I'm a female in a very similar scenario. My husband and his affair partner thought it was okay because our marriage was not great. They just told themselves that it wasn't really a marriage anymore, so that made it okay for them to do what they wanted. They just forgot to inform me. So here's the scenario for you. Can I ask out with friends drinking? A girl at bar hits on him, and they go to her place for more. If he calls his wife and says, "I want a divorce," does that make it okay? Then he gets home and says he changed his mind. No divorce. Everything okie dokie in this scenario. I don't think that's how it works. On to the next story. My wife cheated again. I think I'll try to make this as short as possible. My wife and I have been together for 7 years. During that time, we've had our ups and downs, like every marriage. A few years in, I caught her and her ex Snapchatting. As far as I know, it was just talking. She was very unapologetic after your deal, told me nothing had happened as far as flirting or anything like that. 2 years ago, she said she wanted to take a break. I thought it was pretty random but agreed because it was a tough time in her lives. A couple days later, I noticed she was hiding her phone a lot, and in a weirdly happy mood. Come to find out, she was Snapchatting an old friend, and they were talking dirty and sending nudes to each other. As far as I know, they never met up. But she said it was just because she was lonely, and it wasn't doing enough, essentially. After a very long and hard couple of months, we made it through and were better than ever. 4 months went by, and I deployed. After about a month, she started hanging out with my neighbor a lot. He was recently cheated on and left by his wife and was going through a lot. I let it slide and tried not to get too jealous. Well, then we decided to move a couple hours away while I was gone. After the move, he started coming down and staying the weekend there with her. I voiced my concerns, but was made out to be the bad guy because they were just friends, and she was lonely. During those times, she had voiced that she didn't know what she wanted and that she might want a divorce. I told her not until I get back. Not a decision that big. A couple months after, she started complaining about him to me and stopped the friendship and told me to block him. Mind you, after the Snapchat incident with the other guy, I asked her to block him, and she didn't. I still don't know if he's blocked. She apologized again for how she treated me and told me nothing happened. I've been home for about a year and trusted that. Well, her and a friend got into a fight. Her friend decided to tweet out saying she had an affair and a whole life with her neighbor. Now, I'm questioning. I found some texts that lead me to believe that she did cheat, but I don't know to what extent, and I don't have any further proof yet. We have a 5-year-old and another on the way. I have no idea what to do. Looking for some advice. Well, here you go. Miles Tag starts us off. How much more do you need and test the one on the way for fraternity ASAP? Next thought comes from sexy BPD Army nurse. I'd say that he should DNA test them both. Rubicon Man 1970 says, every time that I thought my ex was cheating, she was cheating. So what do you think? I'd file for divorce, get your kid tested. And as soon as the new one is born, get that one tested too, because it's probably not yours. I remember knowing about a woman that cheated on her husband. They were friends of ours. And when my ex was caught cheating, I let him know that his wife had cheated on him. He didn't believe me, but one day he will. So do you think her friend is telling the truth? I'm probably going to tell you she's telling the truth. I think it's time to protect your assets and get out of that relationship. Do 4222 chimes in. What text did you find? What did they say? It does sound highly suspicious, particularly her telling you to block him. The op response, it was a text friend to him, but screenshot to send to a friend to proof free. I don't remember it verbatim. But it was essentially saying that she knows what they did was wrong, but she needs to focus on her family and that she hopes she understands. And then I found messages on Facebook. I'm assuming after she blocked his number, and he was saying he respects her and me and our child, then he knows some of it got screwed up and understood. I feel like I have the proof, but I don't know for sure, and I don't want to have to admit it. I'm scared to know. Throw a little gorilla chimes in next. I think. Really, dude? Seriously? The neighbor spent the night with her, and you actually thought they didn't screw. Come on, man. You can't possibly be confused or naive. She's cheated on you multiple times. Everyone, but you knows it. Don't bother confronting her. She's been lying, cheated, and manipulating you for years. She's just going to lie to you if you bring it up again. Like she has every single freaking time before. Take control of your goddamn life. No one else is gonna stand up for you. Or your other option is keep living in La La Land all by yourself and come to terms with the fact that she sees you as her personal doormat or ATM. I get the love causes blindness, but Jesus Christ. Moving on. Just here for opinions, experience, and some help. Edit. I think you all might forget I have already broken up with her and gone no contact. My general question was just people's experience and how they've gone about it. Thank you for all the advice. Yesterday, my girlfriend of a year cheated on me. She met with a guy after work to get lunch, and he ended up kissing. She told me she kissed him. I found out because she told me she was going to hang out with her friend, but her friend said they didn't. No later than an hour after she and that guy kissed, I left a note at her door saying we should break up and blocked her on all social media. Needless to say, I was angry. She ended up reaching out to me that same night on her friend's number saying that she wanted to at least talk and tell me what happened. This morning, I unblocked her and told her I need all my belongings at her house. The past month had been a rough time in our relationship due to things mostly outside, but also between us. So here's my question. Should I at least give her a chance to talk to me? I feel like I may need more closure. Should I make space between us and consider working it out? Yeah. I know of trickled truth. I have confirmed they kissed and nothing else, so some thoughts on what you would do. Even though you all may know nothing about a relationship, I'm sure you have gone through something similar. Thank you in advance. Wild Grapefruit offers the first bit of advice. Closure is a myth. No one can give you closure. Maybe only yourself. She planned to cheat and she did. How can you believe anything she says? You've only been dating for a year. Talk this one up to a learning experience and move on. Chocolate or more will only make you look weak. Give her the opportunity to blame shift on you and mess with your head. Next up, similar prize 3533 says, well, she lied to you about meeting up with a guy trying to use an alibi. How long has she been forming the relationship with him and getting to a point where she is comfortable making a move while in a relationship with you? She was attempting to move on from you to stay with your path and move on from her. Crucial Milk Hotel has the last word. She made up an alibi for herself, meaning that was calculated and premeditated. How are you going to trust her again knowing this? That much you know for sure. As for only kissing, was the friend's number that your girlfriend called you the same one that she was supposed to be hanging out with? If so, there's a decent chance that the friend informed your girlfriend that you knew she was lying. That might have stopped her from going further. But personally, I don't think it matters. She does not deserve your trust anymore. Move on. You're only 19 or 20 years old based on your other posts. Be thankful that you have a ton of living ahead of you and that you found out how she really was relatively early on. Don't give her the satisfaction of whatever it is she wants to tell you. Grab your stuff and